Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well and in very good health. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more cricket analysts and more content. So my friends, happy Friday, or should I say happy Saturday, to all of my followers wherever you are watching all over the world. To my friends on the western coast, I know you're all having a wonderful Friday night. To my friends on the east coast, I know we're in the overnight hours now. And to my friends, especially in Europe, the subcontinent, and Australia, and etc., happy Saturday to you all. So folks, we need to talk CPL, and that's the talk of the town right now. So night 2 of Republic Bank CPL the other night saw the St. Lucia Kings running riot on the new look Barbados Royals team, and I must say, you know who impressed me a lot that night? One of the youngsters who I predicted was going to have a very good season for the St. Lucia franchise, and that's Matthew Ford. He demolished the top order, and that's how the game was completed. Inside our first power play, where Ford took 3 wickets for 12 runs. But before I get into that, the St. Lucia Kings got up to 201 for 6, and there was contributions everywhere from Captain Fab du Plessis, who top scored with 46, to corrections, Sean Lewis from Zimbabwe, he top scored with 47, du Plessis 46, Johnson Charles, Verdi, Zulkanda Raza 23, they all chipped in. And I must say, when it was their turn to bowl, it was pace like fire. And Matthew Ford, one of the bowlers who I said in one of my preview videos for CPL, is gonna be one of the rising stars in this year's edition. We saw how much damage he can do with the ball last season. This year again, he produced a fiery spell inside of the power play. 3 wickets for 12 runs, which not only won the Royals the match, the Kings the match, but he also won the Player of the Match award. And the only batter that impressed me in that game for the Barbados Royals was Naeem Young, batting at number 8. He produced late hitting fireworks with 48 of 39 before he was dismissed of the last ball of the match. Luckily, Royals did not lose by a big margin, because we all know what can happen with regards to net run rate later down in the competition. So moving on from Kings defeating the Royals in match number 2 to talking about Trinbago Knight Riders. They are looking strong for this season's CPL, and I have to say this: when they start their quest for a 5th CPL title tomorrow, in the morning against the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, which starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Caribbean time at the Darren Sammy Stadium in St. Lucia, 9 a.m. Jamaica time, 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 7 p.m. for my friends in Pakistan who are interested in watching CPL as well. That's the starting times for the match. They're gonna start their quest for its 5th CPL title, and boy, they want it bad this season, because last couple of seasons, last year was absolute disaster. They ended up dead last in the 2021. They ended up at the top of the table, but lost in that semi-final to the St. Lucia Kings. And for me, this year, TKR needs to go all out if they want to get back that title after 3 years. We all know what happened in 2020, where they went undefeated and won it under the captaincy of Kieran Pollard and under the coaching of Brendan McCullum. But there's change of staff this year for TKR. Phil Simmons is the head coach. Ryan ten Descartes, one of the former Dutch players, he's the assistant coach. Rampal now promoted to bowling coach, and Nikita Miller is both the spin bowling coach and also the another assistant coach. So folks, we need to look at this TKR team for this year's CPL. They have gotten back the likes of the legendary players, T20 players such as Andre Russell, Sunil Narayan, Captain Kieran Pollard, and Nicholas Puran. While in the bowling department, they have retained Akil Hussain and Jaden Seals. And joining the St. Lucia Kings, in fact, joining from the St. Lucia Kings for this season is Mark Dial, who was traded to the Knight Riders a month before the draft even took place. he has not only come into the side to boost the batting but can also bowl some decent off spin too. He has done that in domestic cricket. He has also done that too for the St. Lucia Kings in previous editions of CPL. And of course, returning to TKR after a 2-year hiatus. Ladies and gentlemen, returning to TKR after spending 2 years at the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. It's the one, the only, the champion, doing DJ Bravo. Everybody knows say Bravo's a champ. Everybody knows say Bravo a champion. So I'm glad that they got back who they wanted with regards to star players. But we need to talk about the foreign players because we all know for a fact how player availability can come back and haunt you. Now, at one point before CPL had begun a few weeks ago, I was extremely excited to see South African or veteran middle order batter Riley Rousseau, Sri Lanka's Mahisha Patirana aka Baby Malinga, and Nur Ahmed out of Afghanistan, the wrist spinner. Then you hear the news of Patirana and Nur no longer available to play in CPL due to international commitments at the Asia Cup, which is happening in Pakistan and Sri Lanka at the month end. And a couple of days before I shot this video, beg your pardon, it was revealed that Riley Rousseau was left out of the South African team for the T20 series at home against Australia at the month end. And it was also revealed in one of them press conference too, when they had announced the team, he had sustained an injury, which was one of the real reasons why he wasn't selected. Neither he actually joined up the TKR camp. So it is unclear if he will play in the upcoming matches. But let's keep our fingers crossed that Rousseau is fit, because he is one of those players who can turn the game around. He has had an average Major League Cricket season, but that innings in the last game, which helped Los Angeles Knight Riders end their season with just one victory rather than going winless. But one batter who desperately needs runs, and I'm talking about in the foreign player department, is New Zealand's Martin Guptill. Now, the 36-year-old played 2 games recently for the Los Angeles Knight Riders, and he was way below par. He hardly got to double figures in both of the games where he was deceived quite badly. But the big story in the bowling department out of the foreign players section is that Ali Khan is rejoining TKR after missing last season through injury. And another Afghan has linked up with the Knight Riders in St. Lucia, and that's another wrist spinner who actually did take part in CPL last year for Amazon Warriors, and that is Waqar Salam K. The left arm wrist spinner has officially replaced Noor for the entire competition now. Coincidentally, as what I was just mentioning, he was a part of the Guyana Amazon Warriors team in last year's competition and was also a part of the team's 60 squad last year. And we need to talk about there is a big talking point going on with regards to us, the fans, over one of our favorite foreign players who actually was not taken back by TKR this year. And I'm talking about Colin Munro, one of my favorite foreign players. Now, when I saw the draft back on the 30th of June and saw Munro's name not with TKR, I was absolutely shocked right away. Not only myself was shocked, but also the fans of TKR, and so as my followers, and even some of those who I also hang out with down in school too, and other persons as well. They were absolutely shell-shocked when they saw his name was not retained. Now, let me just say this. When I saw that Munro was not retained by TKR in the foreign players department, I nearly went into a rant. But according to my cousin and one of the teachers down in school, Miss Haitula, who I have to give a shout out to, not only her but also my cousin Kevin. Now, they were asking me a question, I think a couple of months ago, And the question was, in fact, it was my cousin who had first asked me the question. Then the next day I went and asked her that question, which I will get to in a second. My cousin had asked how would I had felt if TKR did not retain Colin Munro, and it's something similar. It reminds me of when Bravo had left TKR to join the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. I was heartbroken at that time, and on this occasion, I'm not only heartbroken, I'm also angered, and I'm in shock. At one time, I tried to get over it, but then my rage started getting the better of me. So when I went to ask her that same question, she had told me it's okay for him to play for other teams, but we all know he will always be a Night Rider for life. And a lot of the Trinidadians were so angered by that too. I was reading a comment on Twitter, now known as X, the other day. Someone was telling me Munro is one of our foreign trainees for life. And I have to agree with that. This guy scored almost 2,000, more than 1,000 runs for us within the last 6 seasons with TKR. And coincidentally, he was the second leading run scorer for us last season before they decided not to retain him. So I would like to call out Mr. Venki Maiso and ask him what made Ole decide not to take Munro back. That's one. And two, why the hell you guys traded Kyrie Pierre to the St. Lucia Kings? I want answers with those two questions. Speaking of the Kings, both Kyrie Pierre and Colin Munro will be representing the St. Lucia franchise for the 2023 season. And I was talking about Martin Guptill earlier on. He desperately needs some runs because in the recently concluded Major League Cricket in the US, where he was a part of Los Angeles Knight Riders, the 2 games he played, he failed to get past double digits. In 1 or the 2 games he had played, he got ducked. And this just goes to show how mediocrity Venki Maiso and the Knight Riders administrators are. Excuse me. I guess my tiredness is getting over me. I apologize for that. The other mistake TKR made with regards to signing players was how they signed Jamaican Chadwick Walton, who actually was a part of Talawars in the past, over one of our very own Tion Webster. Now that one is a very questionable selection. And if you look at Chadwick Walton's age, he's 36, 37 years of age, and giving him a go over a youngster like Webster, I find, what is this? What the hell is really wrong inside of the brains of the Knight Riders franchise? Furthermore, I'm also glad to see that Terrence Hines is back with them. He had a little average last season, but they need to groom him more as an all-rounder. That's because there's too many all-rounders in there. And also I have to admit that I'm also happy with regards to the emerging players that they selected, like for example Jaden Carmichael and Kadeem Allen, who have both come out of the West Indies Academy setup. And I would like to see how they utilize the youngsters alongside the experienced old pros. And why I'm saying this is because you need to utilize your players wisely. Last season, for example, you all may remember how Akil Hussain got injured in Knight Riders' first game and had to miss a couple of games, and that cost us bad because our bowling was atrocious, so as our batting last season. And for me, last season TKR was very unpredictable. Excuse me. And the way how we misread things last season, there should not be a repeat of that in 2023. So I wish TKR all the best for its opening game against the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots at 10 a.m. Eastern Caribbean Time at the Darren Sammy Stadium, 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And check out your time zones all over the place too to watch TPL as well, because I know some of my followers have missed the first couple of matches. But as what the old saying says, the show must go on. So guys, until we meet again, stay good, stay safe, be good, be cool. Thank you.